But anyway, I'm Tim Sanders. I'm from around Tunica. We do a lot of continuous rice there. Most of it is, we'll go 4 or 5 years of continuous rice. I've got some that's 10 years in. If it does come out, it's not out for very long. It goes right back in. A lot of zero grade, a lot of straight levee rice. Some of my oldest fields are actually contour levee fields, but they're pretty big patties, so it's almost like a straight levee. And a lot of it, or pretty much most of it, is hybrid rice. We grow a lot of hybrid rice around Tunica County. Weed issues are the same as any other rice field you're going to come across. I just think it's pressure is really the main issue. The timing of your herbicides gets to be critical. The moisture, really when you're putting it out, some of these chemicals we've been using lately, and it's really, in a non-continuous field, you'll end up with a patch of grass here, a patch of grass there, but in these continuous situations, it's really almost the whole field will just be a nightmare if you have some failures. Barnyard grass, of course, the main culprit. We do have some resistance to quinclorac and propanil, or both. We generally start every field, in most cases, with command, and we'll use just about anything that is available to us to try to control the barnyard grass. Going back to some older stuff like prowl, and even back to some of the facets here in recent years. Prowl kind of started off going with our new path on some of these clearfield fields, but we're kind of moving it back into some of our non-clearfield fields, and just try to change everything up from year to year if we can. Just a picture of some of the barnyard grass pressure. It can take more than one shot at planting. Sometimes we don't get the best activation on our command or any pre-emerge. You may have to come back in there and spray again with the glyphosate or something before the rice is up, or come in right after the rice is up. I mean, last year we came in on some with a propanil shot just because the rice had come up. We really, from one day to the next, decided there's too much rice up and we had to change gears. I'll say weedy rice is a big problem. Growing a lot of hybrid, get a lot of off types, some shattering. We're doing things like burning straw, we're running Kelly Diamond. But you've got to get this rice out of the field before your rice comes up. If you don't, it's going to be with you really the rest of the year. I've had some talks with some people that are doing some other, they're being really trying to make no ruts, keep the seed in the upper profile of the soil, flood it in the winter. Hopefully the ducks and things will eat it. But really trying not to rut the fields at all and burying some of that seed where it comes up the next year. We're looking at doing a little more of that or being more intense with it. We've got broadleaf signal grass in just about every field. And really it's just kind of something that makes you, even if you've got facet resistance, you might still have to throw some facet out there for that or control it in some other ways. Sprangle top, pretty thick in a lot of fields. I did find, I think a lot of folks probably already knew it, but if you've got really heavy sprangle top and really heavy barnyard grass in the same field, you better get the barnyard grass out, because I think you can make rice in the sprangle top, but you're not going to make it in the barnyard grass. Crabgrass is getting worse in some of these fields. I don't have a lot of answers there. Tried to burn it out with propanil or keep it from coming up with prowl, but we're flooding so shallow these days right after we're putting the water on. If any of that crabgrass is sticking out of the water, it's coming back, and I hadn't had a whole lot of luck cleaning it out. The big kicker this past few years has been rice flat sedge. Of course, there's your nut sedge and your flat sedge. That's kind of been a game changer because it changes your whole program. We've had to start putting bassagran in a lot of fields. We're about, like I said, 2 to 3 years into resistance to permit. The stand bassagran has been a good mix. Grasp extras worked well, really depending on size. We've put sharpen out at planting, and that's the heavier rate there seems to be helping out some too. These are just other pictures. You can see how thick it's getting in some of these fields if it's not controlled. Coffee beans everywhere, just like all these other fields, but I do have some places we're getting a little indigo. As long as we're aware of it, you know, we can go out there and control it. But there's nothing worse than going out there with Blazer and then having a few things standing out there looking at you. We're getting some other issues just with some of these hybrids we're growing. We've had a little bit of stem rot lately. And you can see this is just a picture showing perfectly good heads that fell over. That's already been cut. Combine just didn't get down to it. And that's given us a little bit of yield loss there. We hadn't used a lot of fungicides on these hybrids, and I don't know if we need to, but you know, there's something to look at there maybe. And drift, I mean, I know that's not a continuous rice problem, but it's a problem. And in these situations, that's pigweed supposed to be on the left, and then just some symptomology and then a field. You can see in the background maybe how much of that got damaged, but everybody's trying to control pigweed, and anything that delays your rice crop is going to be a nightmare for you. So in these situations with continuous rice and just weeds constantly coming at you, the rice always seems to take the chemical harder than the weeds do. And so you're really up against the wall trying to clean it up. Of course, this is what we want. Nice clean rice field, everything looks good. And then this is sometimes what we feel like. We're stuck on the track, you know, train's coming for you. But I mean, everything's trial and error. You go out there and try something. If it doesn't work, you move on to the next one. Just try to talk to everybody and, you know, share some thoughts and ideas, and hopefully we can come up with a way to preserve technologies and just really the rice industry for the future. And that's it. Unless you got any questions.